This is saying Thomas is making oatmeal. The recipe makes enough for 2 people. It calls for 1 cup of oats, 1 1/3 cups of water, and 2/3 cup of milk. Part A, it's a 2-part question, so you got to answer both. My kids make a mistake and think it's multiple choice. No, you got to do both pieces. It says, how much water does he need for 4 servings? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up and look at the problem, and we're going to sort of look at the things we need. And I'm going to do everything for part A in red. So I'm going to box that in red so that when we go back to do part B, you can see the other colors. So it says, how much does he need for 4 servings? Well, the recipe makes 2, so I need the 2. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for the water. So I have to come over here and say, what do I need? Oh, it's 1 1/3 cups water. And we're going to do that open circle thing. All right, so now those are the 2 pieces that I need in order to solve this problem. Now, you can do one of 2 things. You can look at the 2, and you can say, well, what do I have to do to the 2? What do I multiply the 2 by to get 4? Well, everyone knows 2 times 2 is 4. So because I multiplied the number in the recipe by 2 to get the number I want, I do the same with the water. So now I have 1 1/3, and we're going to times that by 2. I prefer to make my fractions improper when I'm multiplying because it's easier. And a lot of times there's teachers that split them up and say 1 times 2 and then 1/3 times 2. I prefer to just do it all in one thing. So remember, this is around the world. We multiply here and then we add here. So 3 times 1 is 3, add 1 is 4. So now I have 4/3 times 2 over 1, because remember, any whole number is a fraction if you put it, write it as over 1. Now just multiply numerator and denominator. 4 times 2 is 8, and 3 times 1 is 3. I know it's just shy of 9 because 3 times 3 is 9. So I know it's just shy of 3 cups. So I'm going to have 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. That leaves me 2 left. So I need 2 2/3 cups of water. All right, I hope that helped on that one. Now let's go down here and take a look at the milk. This one's a little bit different, and let's change the color so it's easier to see what we're talking about. We're talking about 6 servings this time. So I go back up, I need the 2 again, and I need milk this time. He has 2 cups of milk. Don't you hate when you're working on a recipe and all of a sudden you go get the milk and you don't have enough to do the recipe? So you got to make sure you have enough of your ingredients before you do any cooking. So we're going to see up here, oh look, I need 2/3 of a cup of milk for 1 recipe. So now you can do the other way. You could have set this up, oops, let's leave it at green, is I need 2/3 cup milk and the rest for a serving of 2. That's your recipe. Set it up as a proportion. I want enough for 6 servings. So now I'm going to make this over 6, which is similar to what we did up on part A, but now it's written as 2 equivalent fractions, and I need to find this. What you're going to do is, what do I do to the 2 to make 6? Well, this one's an easy one. So I'm going to say I multiply that by 3. That gives me the 6 on the bottom. So again, do the same on the top. Multiply by 3. And I'm going to do that over here. So I have 2/3, and I'm going to multiply that by 3 over 1. Because remember, whole numbers over 1. Let's write it as a fraction. 2, multiply my numerators. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. Oh, I can reduce that. And that makes 2. And I need 2 cups of milk. So do I have enough is what it was asking. Is 2 cups enough to make 6 servings? So once you've done all this math, you've been able to say, yes, it is enough. Yes, 2 cups milk is enough for 6 servings.